Good morning. Good morning, guys. I hope everyone had an amazing week. And yeah, new week. It's time to get into the market and trying to make some money. Well, last week I was unable to make videos because I was busy. I had a lot to do, so couldn't have the time. But since we're here, so currently, as I can see from the dollar on the weekly time frame is that the dollar is currently drawn to this external range. The current is currently drawn into this external range, buy side liquidity. Let me put it to the top, right? So then currently the market is currently drawn into this external range, buy side liquidity, and above that there's a fair value. This is a CB, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, meaning there is an inefficiency to the buy side. So there was a strong displacement to the downside, and there was an imbalance here. So currently this is what's currently going on, and as I can tell now that the price, the dollar is currently drawn to this buy side liquidity, into this buy side liquidity. So currently we are here. We're currently here. It's been making higher highs, right? So what I want to see is that if it really wants to come to this point here, then we might see a draw to this imbalance, then shoot. Before you can begin your week trading and whatever that you're doing, man, I feel that it's important that you start by looking at the weekly and the monthly time frame, because remember, narrative is king in price. That's why ICT constantly says that, because it's not just about spotting price movement, it's about understanding why they happen. Why is price going to the buy side? You understand? Narrative is all about where the price is trying to go, because if you can find where price is currently trying to go, it gives you an advantage, and a head start, because now I know that, okay, the price wants to go into this external range buy side liquidity, because there's liquidity resting above this high, and also above that there's an inversion fair value gap, meaning this here, it's a nice liquidity for markets to raid. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that narrative is all about knowing where the price is trying to go. It's not just about finding an entry pattern. No, instead it's about having a framework and what price is trying to head to. Because by anticipating where the price is headed, you're already one step ahead. So now you're not looking for entries after the fact. Instead, you are ready for them. I don't know if you understand me. So now you are ready for those entries. You don't anticipate after they happen, but you anticipate them before they happen. So another advantage narrative gives us is navigating the markets with confidence and massive foresight, because we understand the why behind price. I don't know if you understand me. We understand why price is moving the way it's moving. We understand why it's ranging. And we understand why is it expanding to do what. You understand? So remember, narrative is king. So here, what is the narrative of it? Might take out this liquidity here and use a wick to wick inside and reject inside this inversion fair value gap. This is fair value gap here. So it might want to push to the buy side, then retrace. So now, since we know that the narrative of the market on the dollar is that it wants to come into this external range buy side liquidity, right? So I know what will it need to climb or to push, to continue to push to the buy side. Because remember, the market can't just continue like buying. It has to retrace. There has to be a pullback. But where would my draw be? There is this what? There is this BC here. Buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So there's this fair value gap that I'm looking at. And also inside of that there's a what? There's an order block. You see that? There's an order block. And in that same area there is this also this fair value, which will become my inversion fair value gap. So meaning it might react to this fair value or this order block here. So I'm gonna check on the daily time frame. So if it wants to retrace, I'm gonna look at the range, this entire range here. So I don't wanna go a lot on this, so let me just be fast. So from this range here, you see that, so it might retrace into this fair value and wick inside this fair value gap to continue to push price to the buy side. You understand? I'm not saying it will, because currently it rejected in what? In this volume imbalance. It rejected in it, retrace. I want to trace where? I want the retracement to be below the midpoint of this range here. I hope you understand me. So sometimes they might say, I usually like using the bodies, not the wicks, but like using the wicks is also like gives you a space to breathe. I don't know if you understand me. If you can look at that, so in this entire range here, right? So the market might want to retrace inside this fair value gap and wick inside this fair value gap, which is the discount PD array, right? And also looking at this, what is that? That's a breaker. So the dollar might be drawn to retrace to this zone here, but I'm assuming I'm gonna go to my US 100. Now I'm gonna go to US 500. So we're currently in US 500 on the weekly time frame. So we know that the dollar might wanna retrace, right? So retracing means this guy here might wanna push to the buy side because they have a negative correlation. So looking at this here, right? We are on a weekly time frame. So last week they really pushed price to the down. Look at that. They really wanted to push price to the downside. So currently we are in this week here. So for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, the market has been bearish. But where was the narrative? What was the narrative for the market to being bearish? Remember, it has been bullish for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has been bullish for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks long. So it has to have like a breather, and retrace. So where would I be looking at? I'll be looking at this order block, right? I'll be looking at this order block, because looking at the range from this low here, this swing low, to this swing high. Where is this order block? This order block is in between the midpoint of this entire range here. Then from there, I want to see, so like we went into it, but we didn't go below the low of this bullish order block. And if I can take this Fibonacci and go from there and use the week, now only looking at the week, the midpoint of the week is it's a very also an important area, because if it closed below this week, I would anticipate that, okay, the market still wants to continue to to the downside, but currently it closed above the wick, above the midpoint, right? So this week the market might want to do it. The market might retrace to the buy side, then continue to push to the downside. I'm not saying it will, but it might happen, because I'm also looking at the low of this week and this here. But even if I don't just look at it, I'm gonna go to my daily. So from the daily time frame for the past weeks, so it's 1 2 3 4 5 weeks, I mean for the past 5 days, meaning the last week, the market was really pushing to the downside. So it has to like retrace, but retrace to where? Now if you can look at that, this was last week's low on the weekly time frame, right? You see that? And look at that, it created what? A fair value. So now I'm currently looking at this fair value gap as my draw on liquidity, because liquidity here was rated. You see, so liquidity was rated, so it has to like retrace, but retrace to where? I want to see what does price want to retrace into this fair value gap and reject into it and push down into this weekly BC. So I'm currently, so now I know that okay, liquidity was rated. So where is my next draw on liquidity? My next draw on liquidity, if external range, remember the market does what? The market takes out external and to internal. So it's external to internal, from internal to external. I don't know if you understand. So now external range liquidity was rated. Now I want to see a retracement into an internal liquidity range, which is this fair value gap. So now the S&P 500 is telling me that okay, it might want to buy and retrace here and shoot down. I don't know. You understand? But this is where I want to see price heading into this fair value gap, because if you can look from this high here into this low, where is this fair value gap? It's in between. It's at the midpoint of this range here. So price might be drawn into this fair value and shoot to the downside. I'm not saying it will, but currently for now, I'm looking for a retracement to this fair value gap on S&P 500. So let me check. So we're gonna see. I'm not usually trading on Mondays. I just want to look at price, what it does, so that it can give me a blueprint on what's gonna happen during the week. So I'll go to my weekly. So looking at this, so this is Nasdaq. So Nasdaq was really bearish for the last 1 2 3 4 weeks. Also for the past 4 weeks it has been bearish, and it was drawn to what? It was drawn to this liquidity pool here. You see there is a breaker. This is a swing high, so this is a breaker. So it's a retracement to the break, and also a retracement to where? So from this entire range here, right, on the weekly time frame, from this entire range here, the market retraced inside the discount PD arrays, which is this weekly breaker and this fair value gap. You see it? So you trace that was the draw on liquidity for the past week. So you wanted to rush there, took out liquidity, because if you can look at this is a swing high. So there's liquidity resting below this, below here, and inside of that there's a what? There's a breaker and a fair value gap. So that's a high probability key PD array. So the market was drawn there. So we did that. So currently it created a what? There was a strong imbalance to the buy side, right? So the market might wanna retrace and fill out this fair value gap. It might, I'm not saying it will, but it might. So we currently know that okay, we are in a very high key area right now, right? It's a very important key area. So, and look at where the price is. The price is currently inside this daily fair value gap. Also, it reacted to this weekly breaker and taking out liquidity. So there was a lot of damage done here, right? So I would want to see a retracement, because the price cannot just go down. It has to what? Retrace, but retrace to where? You understand? So currently this is Monday. I don't usually trade. I just want to look at what price does during this day of the week. So I'm gonna see, does it want to push to this and make an immediate rebalance, meaning close out all this imbalance that was made, close it out, or it would just leave it like that and create a volume imbalance here. Then we see Tuesday closing it. So this is, I'm gonna go to my 4 hours though. So if we go to 4 hours forwards, now we start getting more information of what we really want to see price doing. I don't know if you understand me. So currently I'm in a very key and a very important key area, right? And I said I wanted to see the dollar retracing, right? Retracing to the downside so that it can continue and take out liquidity. Remember. So now liquidity was rated here. You see that? So we just took out liquidity, right? So if the price breaks out here with displacement, that I would see this for our internal range buy side liquidity, these areas of liquidity being my draw on liquidity as part of what that retracement that I was talking about. So now I'll be looking to buy and looking for these liquidity areas, because remember, when the market, let me say the market is bearish, right? It keeps on generating liquidity, generates liquidity, generate liquidity, only to take out that liquidity. I don't know if you understand me. So here liquidity was rated, right? So I would want to see a strong displacement up, right? You see this fair value gap? You see this fair value gap? This fair value gap, I would, if I see a strong displacement to the buy side, right? And it doesn't respect this fair value gap to continue to push to the downside. Let me say, for example, if it closes above the midpoint, above the midpoint of this entire imbalance, then I would want to see a strong displacement up and using this fair value gap as a rock climber to push and take out this internal range buy side liquidity. But if the body keeps on closing below the midpoint of this imbalance, then I would want to see price breaking this low and entering this weekly order block. So I have two narratives. So I know if the price displaces to the upside, I know I'm gonna use this fair value as a rock climber to push price and take out all these liquidity zones here. As a what? As a retracement of this entire bearish movement. You understand me? So this is where I'm at. I'm just gonna wait and see what's happening now. Because also, if we can look, what day was this? The 31st of January. It was Wednesday. Look at here the date. It was 31st January, Wednesday. So if I can go to my US 500, 30th of January. So I'm looking for 30th of January. 30th of January. This is the 30th of January. So if you see that, so on Nasdaq, this low was raided. This was the liquidity area that was being drawn to. But on S&P, it didn't break the 30th January low. So what is that? Tell me, what is that? That's divergence. SMT, smart money technique. That's divergence. So even though S&P 500 wasn't really in a rush to take out this low, Nasdaq was the one in a hurry to take out the low, the 30th January low, meaning that it created an SMT. This was SMT. So now the 30th January 31st January low on Nasdaq did what? It was raided. You see that? So since I've seen SMT, so I would, in my mind, I've gotten an idea that okay, the market may want to retrace here. Not necessarily say reverse, but retrace. But retrace to where? Narrative. Retrace to where? Retrace to this internal range buy side liquidity. But if it really wants to take out these guys here, I would want to see a strong displacement above this fair value, and using this fair value as an inversion fair value gap to push price to go to the buy side. You understand that? Because if you can look at the DXY, yeah, if you look at the XY, it's currently playing here. So this is the fair value gap that I was talking about. The XY has been what? The dollar has been very bullish for quite a while now. So if it wants to take out this liquidity area here and go to this external range buy side liquidity, I would love to see this low being taken out and entering this the daily, I think it's the daily or the weekly fair value gap. So I want to see a retracement, then push to the buy side. I don't know if you get me. So also let me check US30, because there's someone who's like, hey man, can you check US30 for me? Okay. So on US30, we're gonna check on the weekly time frame. Usually like to check the high time frame so that they can give me a narrative of what's really like the market really what does the market really wants to do. So you can see from this area here, for the past 2 weeks, right, US30 has been really bearish, Well, what was the drawn liquidity? Swing low, swing high. That's my range, right? I'm looking at this range. You see that? So it was drawn to this swing low, and inside this So it was drawn to this weekly bullish order block. US states has negative correlation with the dollar. I mean, no, sorry, it has a negative correlation with S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So actually, no, they correlate together. So all of them, both the dollar, the big sorry, all both the USDT, S&P 500, and the Nasdaq are on the weekly time frame in a key PD array zone, right? So we might want to see a retracement, but here, what would my retracement be? I'm looking at this fair value gap. You see this fair value gap? So it might be drawn to this fair value gap, pass and or displaced to the buy side and use this fair value gap as a what? As an inversion fair value gap. So but currently you see there was a strong rejection and it closed above this order block, so it might want to push to the buy side. So if you can go to the daily time frame now, when you slowly go into the lower time frame, as you slowly progress to the lower time frame, you get more information. Look at this, man. Just went there, filled it, and shot to the buy side. How crazy is that? Look at this, bro. Look at the body. Now you see when I say the body gives you the narrative. So currently what we see is that it's currently drawn where? It's drawn to the buy side, but where? So I'm gonna be looking at this entire range here, from this here to this here. So currently where am I drawn at? I'm drawn into this bearish order block, because also it's where? It's in the premium PD array. So this order block and this fair value gap. This is where my eyes are looking at. So I'm thinking it might push price to the buy side and enter the discount area. So what's important is that you understand where the narrative is at. Oh my god, man, these guys are making noise. But anyways, so this is where I am for hours. So yeah, I will just see today what's popping, then I'll see tomorrow, because also tomorrow there's high impact news at 9:45 a.m. New York time. So the news here, they might be used to push price to those areas of liquidity, but I want to see what does Monday do and this Tuesday's news candle, because looking at also the commitment of traders, of commercial traders, it has been bullish, and they're currently selling Nasdaq. See that? They're currently selling Nasdaq, and I'm looking at this. Hey guys, there's a lot to trading, guys. There's a lot to trading. So from this low here and this high, let me just do this so that we apply. So this entire, so currently it's still what? Commercial traders are still doing. Okay, commercial traders are still selling. Commercial traders are still selling price. So currently this is the June 2024 contract NQE mini S&P for 10. So currently the commercial traders are what? Are bearish. So I know that, okay, here I might reverse, but I know that this could be what? Only just a reversal. But where is my liquidity? Where is my drawn liquidity? These key areas here. So I know that if it does not use this fair value gap to push to continue to the downside, but displays to the buy side, it will use this to push and take out all this liquidity that was being generated here and push to the downside. Because here commercial traders are still what? Selling, and not even inside the discount in discount area. So I'm currently waiting. I want to see price coming inside this discount zone. Then I'll know that okay, we'll start buying strongly to the buy side of the market. So I currently know that okay, this is just could be just a retracement. You understand? So this could only just be retracement. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just not gonna trade today, but I'm gonna see Tuesday what the market did today. So yeah, cheers.